So I said in my previous video I liked Prometheus. However, Alien Covenant, I generally don't know what to feel. Like, I liked it, but at the same time I'm questioning some things. Like, this, and also I believe something else might be angering the fans is because this movie kind of killed any and all hope for Alien 5, which would have been Alien 3, the reality, since it would have negated Aliens 3 and Resurrection and had Newton Hicks, but much older. That would have been an awesome sequel, but it was revealed that they had instead canceled the proposed Alien 5 movie, and instead opted to go more in the prequel direction. And I had a feeling this was going to piss people off because, like, they'll look at Alien Covenant and they'll say, oh, that's the thing that killed Alien 5. So, yeah, it was a little nervous on that. But, as I was saying, I generally don't know how to feel about Alien Covenant. Like, okay, let's get into some of the positives. The acting's great. Like, okay, yeah, the acting's great. Michael Fassbender is the star here because he's doing it in stereo now because he's playing Walter and David, who returns from Prometheus. And, yeah. Yeah, I like David and Walter's characteristics. Like, David is this earlier made android who was formerly a crew member of the destroyed Prometheus, and Walter is a new model who assists the crew aboard the Covenant. Also, as I was continuing to say, a lot of the character motivation made no sense to me. Like, oh, let's go here, let's go here, let's go here. Yeah, I didn't get that. And also, the motivation and the idea of going on course for this one planet and instead just change direction and go to another planet. And I was thinking to myself, wait, couldn't they have just went to that planet, the planet they were going to, and revealed that it was the engineers' homeworld? But due to extenuating circumstances, everything led to what it is. Yeah. And okay, I'm now in like wondering, okay, why couldn't they do this? But instead they had to make another planet that even the crew members explain is complete BS, and explaining that we never found that on the monitors. We never found the simulations. It was not in the simulations. It was not in the scannings. It was not in the surveys. Like, even they called BS on this. And like, when your movie starts to point out a obvious flaw here, then you know you might be in trouble. So, yeah. And a lot of people really like Daniels, the character played by Catherine Waterston. Especially how she was like a little bit like Ripley. That actually led to people believing that she might be Ripley's mother, though considering how the movie ended, I highly doubt that. Even Ridley Scott had to deny this. So, yeah, it follows 11 years after the Prometheus incident, and the colonization ship Covenant is bound for a remote planet with 2,000 colonists and over 1,000 human embryos on board. The ship is monitored by Walter, a newer android that physically resembles the earlier David model. A stellar neutrino burst damages the ship, killing some of the colonists. Walter orders the ship's computers to wake the crew from stasis, but the ship's captain is killed when the stasis pod malfunctions, burning him while he's still asleep. Well, at least he was asleep, so I can't say that was all bad, since he managed to not feel the pain. At least I think so. When I saw this, it was like, is he moving? Is he not? Was he asleep? Okay. So while repairing the ship, also Daniels, okay, like, we only have one major disaster, a crew member's killed, and we're supposed to feel sorry for the secondary main character, because, let's be honest, Daniels is a secondary main character. Walter and David were pretty much the main characters in this movie. But, yeah, the she starts to. We're supposed to feel sad for her, but here's the thing. I get it. It's tragic and whatnot, but at the same time, we don't know who she is. We can't just use reality and say, "Oh, this happened, so you have to feel sad." This is a movie. We're supposed to identify with this character, and we get this, and I'm like, sad, but I don't really feel anything about it since there is nothing to show for it. Like, we just get some scenes of her husband going ahead and living a life at one point and having a relationship with Daniels, and that's it. So, yeah. So while repairing the ship, the crew picks up a radio transmission from a nearby unknown planet dubbed by the navigator Rix as Planet Number 4. Yeah. Against the objections of Daniels, the captain's widow, the new captain, Oram, decides to investigate. And like I said, I'm wondering, why not just take it to that planet they were going to and put the entire movie on there? That would have done a lot of help. So, okay, the Covenant sends an expedition team, and every time when I say Covenant, I'm thinking of Halo. I knew that was going to happen. So, an expedition team goes to this Earth-like planet's surface after a huge ion storm, and tracks the transmission signal to a crashed alien ship. Oh boy, I wonder where such a storyline came from. I cannot believe it. If you're clearly wondering if you didn't know this, I'm clearly talking about Alien, the original, and definitely far superior. So anyways, yeah, and then they find, they see the wreckage of the ship, and I'm wondering, wait, but we see later in a flashback it was over a city. How did it get into the forest? They never explained that. And, yeah. The questions just keep coming afterwards. So, while on the surface, security team members Leonard and Karen divert from the main group to perform field research. Lurid steps away and accidentally steps on alien spores and is soon infected. Meanwhile, Daniels and the member of the main group notice cultivated common wheat, but it's also the complete lack of wildlife and animal sounds. Catherine helps the rapidly sickening Lurid back to the lander, where Maggie quarantines them both inside the medbay. A small pale alien creature, which would later be revealed as a neomorph, bursts from Leonard's back, killing him, and then mauls Karen to death. Yeah, did I mention this movie's rated R? Because there is so much monstrous gore here. This might be the goriest movie I've ever seen. More gorier than... Yeah, really more... I'm pretty sure it's the goriest of the Alien franchise. Like, Alien 3 attempted to be gory, but they cut so much out of it due to production issues and all the backstage politics going on. So, yeah. Especially since they were supposed to show a scene where Newt gets dissected by a doctor or a surgeon or... Okay, forget what I was talking about on that. So this Neo, and when I see it, it's... Okay, yeah, I can tell it's CGI. Like, I know, like, I get it that it's gonna be CGI, but I feel like it's not CGI. Like, there's a difference. Obviously you're knowing either way, yeah, that's CGI. But can you have the illusion that at least it could be real? Though, of course, I'm pretty sure my friend would most likely gag at this, because I talked about him a lot in my last video about Prometheus. Maggie attempts to shoot the creature, but accidentally triggers an explosion which kills her and destroys the lander. The neomorph escapes to the planet's surface, while another such creature bursts from Hallett's throat, killing him. Yeah, and we see his insides burst out of his mouth, so... Yeah. The neomorphs attack the remaining crew members and kill Encore, and the crew manages to kill one before David scares away the other and leads the crew to a city full of humanoid engineer corpses. David tells them upon his and Dr. Elizabeth Shaw's arrival at the planet, their ship accidentally released a black Wicklick bioweapon which killed the native population, and that Shaw died when the ship crashed in the ensuing chaos. Yeah, that's not true. After the crew members tell David of their mission, they attempt to radio the Covenant for help, but the surviving Neomorph infiltrates the city and finds security team Rosanel alone before decapitating her brutally. Yeah. David tries to communicate with the creature, but is horrified when Oram kills it. Yeah, considering how the Alien movies, with the exception of the Alien Queen, none of the Xenomorphs ever seem to ever go after the android. Yeah, have you noticed that? Like, Alien Resurrection did this. I've seen the Nostalgia Critics review. Alien didn't have I'm trying to remember his name, it's been so long. Anyways, and Bishop wasn't attacked. So wait, Bishop was attacked, sorry. But out of the pre-main Alien movies, and two being prequel, and Prometheus doesn't count since there was no Xenomorph. But yeah, moving on. So, anyways, under Oram's gunpoint, David reveals that the aliens are a result of his experimenting with the Black Wicker as a catalyst to create new species. Yeah, have you noticed something here? David killed them. He killed the engineers. All of them. Every single one of them. You could say, killed them. He murdered them. He set his creativity free upon them, and he probably felt it being so good. And I'm pretty sure you know where I'm getting that quote from. But yeah, anyways. Also, David and Walter seemed to have the best scene together when they were interacting with one another. And then it got weird when David kissed him. And I'm wondering, what was the point of that? Yeah. So anyways, he leads around to an incubation chamber and tricks him into being rendered unconscious by an alien face hugger. Also, when I saw the scene, okay, I'm gonna say it, the crew, while their acting is great, they are possibly the stupidest crew out there. Like, I get that, well, okay, here's the difference between Alien and Aliens with Alien Covenant. One, the crew of Nostromo didn't know what was going on. They didn't know what any of this shit was. No one told them anything, so basically they're going in blind-eyed. Aliens, they have Ripley explain the situation to them because she has experience, and therefore they wouldn't fall for the obvious traps. Alien Covenant, here's the problem here. They don't know what these xenomorphs are. They don't know what face huggers are. But here's the thing. When Aram was looking in there, I was calling him a stupid idiot for one reason. He knows David is experimenting on these creatures. He is creating them. I'll rant about that in a minute. He's creating them. So wouldn't it have been obvious he's trying to get another test subject out of him? Like, that wasn't obvious? And yet, because he's an idiot, he has to go ahead and do it. Look inside, get infected, and then sometime later another alien creature, xenomorph this time, erupts from Aram's chest, killing him. Also, for some reason, we got a lot of weird imagery, like a crucified version of a xenomorph, or at least a protomorph, or neomorph. And, yeah. As the other search for Aram and Roselle, Walter has found Shaw's dissected corpse. Yeah, Shaw's dead. The engineers are all dead. Walt David created the xenomorphs, apparently. So humanity created the engineers created humanity. Humanity created the synthetic androids, and Now they created xenomorphs. I know they're trying to push for an irony feel, but I just thought, wow, like, you had originally planned to go to the alien homeworld and fight to the death with them, and this is the result we get now? So, wait, do they settle on a planet? If so, that wouldn't work, because we don't know how we don't know how an alien would function and breed. Unless it basically, now that I think about it, wait, we never saw him create a queen. So, is Shaw the queen xenomorph? Yeah, they didn't talk about that. So Walter confronts David after realizing David had basically smashed genocide an entire species when he unleashed the Black Wicked upon the engineers. David explains that he believes, and here comes the line, humanity is a dying species and should not be allowed to colonize the galaxy. When Walter disagrees, David disables him. Yeah. So, yeah, we're getting the humans are evil and they're a dying species. And I'm not disagreeing with that part because we are pretty much a fucked up species. But come on, we've seen this in virtually every movie in existence. And usually it's a human saying that line. I get the android because, well, he feels he's more superior because he virtually is superior physically, mentally. He just killed an entire species while firing a gun. Yeah. So, anyways, David disables him by basically slitting his robotic throat, but that doesn't work. I'll get into that in a moment. While Cole and Lope search for Aram, Daniels discovers that Shaw didn't die in the crash. David confronts Daniels, telling her that he will do to her exactly what he did to Shaw. So, here's the thing. They don't talk about if he actually murdered Shaw. There's a huge chance he did, but at the same time, there's a chance maybe she tried to stop the infection and she got infected as well, and he just took opportunity with that. So, yeah, we have two ways that can go about this, but I'm banking on that David most likely killed her and then used her corpse to basically experiment with. So Daniels gets attacked by David, and then he kisses her after, I'm like, okay, what's the reason for this? I know he's trying to feel what he believes is love, but at the same time I'm wondering why? David kissing Walter, and now David kissing Daniels. What was the focus here? What was the point of that? But then we get something so epic, so awesome and whatnot, that we will cry in joy of seeing this scene. Walter attacks David and they fight. This is the first, I believe this might be the first time I've ever seen since they fighting one another. So, yeah. So, meanwhile, as they fight, Cole saves Lope and cutting off a facehugger and burning Lope's face in the process, but now the mature xenomorph, which quite took about 5 minutes at best, which bursts from Moran's chest, attacks him and kills Cole as Lope escapes. Walter reactivates himself and fights David in an epic brawl, allowing Daniels to escape it, who reunites with Lope. Tennessee arrives in another lander to extract Daniels, Lope, and the victorious Walter, or so we seem. After a tense encounter outside the ship, they kill the xenomorph before docking with the Covenant. Mother requests Daniels, now Captain, to report to the med bay, and Tennessee joins her when they discover Lope has had a xenomorph burst through his chest, quickly maturing before killing crew members Ricks and his wife Upworth while they were about to have sex in the shower. Yeah, okay, they really went there. They were essentially trying to make a scene like Psycho, but with a xenomorph. And then they go ahead and rinse and repeat aliens, or alien, both of them, with Walter helping Tennessee and Daniels lure the creature into the Covenant's terraforming bay and flush it into space. So the Covenant afterwards resumes its trip to the planet they were going to, and the surviving crew re-enters stasis. Walter helps put Daniels under, and she realizes too late that it's David! And a horrified Daniels is unable to escape her stasis pod as she falls asleep while David watches, saying this: "Shh! Don't let the bed bugs bite. I'll tuck in the children." And I'm like, okay, that was actually kind of creepy. Okay, here's the thing. The Xenomorphs didn't even scare me throughout this movie. But that line from David was really creepy. I'll give him that. So, yeah, David now has both control of the ship and its population, and David regurgitates 2 facehugger embryos after playing a song. He previously swallowed and places them in cold storage alongside the human embryos before exploring the cargo bay doors containing the colonists in stasis. He then poses as Walter to record a log explaining that all the crew members except Daniel and Tennessee were killed by the neutrino blast at the beginning of the film, and that the ship is still on course for whatever before signing off. Yeah, this is the first time that an Alien movie ended really dark-like. Prometheus ended on a cliffhanger. Alien 3 ended with a finality. Alien Resurrection ended with what the hell. Aliens ended with what could have been a perfect ending for the movie and the series as a whole. And Alien ended with Ripley going to sleep. Originally, Ripley was supposed to die in Alien, and then it got revealed that the Xenomorph would replace her voice and head course for Earth, and I'm wondering how that even works. And plus, I can't imagine the Xenomorph talking. So I still don't see how that works. So, yeah, we got a now darker ending in terms of what's going to happen, because, David has experiments on board the Covenant. He has over 2,000 crew members, 2,000 colonists to be exact, and 2 of them being crew members. And the ship is heading to another planet that will most likely be the harvesting ground for more xenomorphs. This might actually explain where Xenomorph Prime came from, because that was the original name that we're going to give it, which I highly find not original. So, yeah, that was like, okay. And like I said, I look at this movie and I say, I don't know how to feel. Like, there are some parts good, some parts bad, some screw ups, some what should have been explained in, yeah. What should have been explained from Prometheus is now negated. And, yeah. Originally, Shaw was supposed to have a bigger role in the movie, apparently, but then the actress playing her wanted to get out, and they killed her off. And all I'm wondering to myself is, okay, he's not pulling a George Lucas with the prequel trilogy, and come to think of it, I have no problems with the prequel trilogy, like Episode 2 a little bit, but I like the prequel trilogy for its underlying themes, at least the ones I saw. And this one, okay, Prometheus was great. Alien Covenant is, I don't know. And they're going to make, okay, here's the thing. They had plans to make a few more sequels after this. There will be, like, there was going to lead to 2 more sequels after Prometheus. So there was going to be 1 more sequel, which is now called Alien Awakening. Let's see, let me check again. Yeah, Alien Awakening. And this movie was originally going to be called Paradise Lost, and Prometheus was going to be called Paradise. And it was written, and Alien Awakening was written during the production of Covenant, and was finished in 2017. Production is scheduled to begin in 2018. And apparently there might be a 4th film before we get back into the Alien franchise. And then in November 2015, Ridley Scott confirmed that the Alien Covenant would be the first of 3 additional films in the Alien prequel series before linking up to the original Alien, and stated that the Prometheus sequels would reveal who created the xenomorph aliens. Yeah, we figured that out. It's dated. Fuck you. Okay. So, yeah. And also, I think Ridley Scott kind of regrets making this movie to an extent because of the canceled sequel to James Cameron's Aliens was canceled because of this. And in a later interview, he said he would have participated as a producer, but 20th Century Fox decided not to pursue the project. However, this movie received a tepid response from critics, from fans. In fact, Angry Joe hates it, Black Hood Guy hates it, Chris Stuckman liked it, Jeremy Johns was mixed about it. So, yeah, this has really divided audience. Like, critics liked it, but audiences seem to have no idea where to go with this. And now, due to the moderate reception it got, 20th Century Fox is rumored to be reassessing the state of the franchise after the moderate reception. Although they have not released an official statement to that effect, according to reports, there will be only one additional prequel film, Alien Awakening, before, and I'm not kidding, a soft reboot is made to the Alien universe consisting of a new series of Alien films with brand new original characters as well as a new setting. Yep, they're rebooting the franchise. And all I'm thinking is, and yes, soft rebooting, like, it's not a reboot. It will technically exist in the same universe as, well, the other movies. But it's not continuing off the story of that. It's a soft reboot. And I'm like, a reboot is a reboot. You can't just press a button and then just stop halfway through, that button. That doesn't work. It either goes in, you either press it all the way, or it doesn't work, or you don't. So, yeah, I might one day make a video about rebooting and remakes, and my overall opinion on that. So, yeah, a lot of the questions in Prometheus, yeah, we don't get an answer for that, and the protomorph, yeah, we never see that in the movie either. In fact, now that I think about it, wait a second. Why didn't David go back to LV-227 and recapture the protomorph? Yeah, they could have done that as well. Heck, they could have done an investigation sequel, trying to figure out what happened to the crew of the Prometheus, and then do Alien Covenant, then do Alien Awakening. Like, they really need to explain about the protomorph currently running loose on LV-227. So, like I said, I don't know how to feel about this movie. Like, it was definitely the most goriest one. And there was some good disturbing imagery, such as a crucified xenomorph, or a baby xenomorph. And when the xenomorph burst from Omar's chest, it was looking like it was a miniature version of a xenomorph rather than a facehugger. I mean, not a facehugger, a baby xenomorph. And when it got out, it looked like it was doing the, "I have arisen, I am Jesus." Yeah, like, there's some religious symbolism on here. And it's going to be, and I am curious as to know where this goes next, because of, how will the crew of the Covenant survive David's experimentation? Can they defeat David? Like, David has turned into basically this villain who doesn't feel anything, but only wants to create. Yeah, I think that's the one thing that's interesting. Like, he doesn't see it as right or wrong. He just wants to create. That's his uniqueness to him. So, yeah. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting where this goes next. Like, they're going to this planet that's probably going to be the Xenomorph homeworld. Well, at least turn into it. David is probably going to die. Unless they do the 4th film where Alien Awakening works out well. We might see Ripley's mother, according to some reports. Like, but Ripley's going to be somebody's daughter, since they said that Daniels is not Ripley's mother. And plus, I'm pretty sure she's going to die. So, like I said, they got me curious of where this is going to go next, but I have to question some of the things they did. And it also was confirmed in an interview the return of surviving engineers who were away from their planet while David had destroyed the indigenous population of their home planet for the next film sequel. So yeah, some of the engineers survived, and yeah, they're going to go out for revenge most likely. So those were my thoughts on Alien Covenant. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to tune for more.